See reflections on the water, more than darkness in the depths. See him surface and never a shadow. On the wind I feel his breath. Golden eye, I found his weakness. Golden eye, he'll do what I please. Golden eye, no time for sweetness.
Join us for an electrifying conversation with EDM powerhouse Kendra Erika as she unveils her upcoming album License to Thrill, the James Bond songbook. From reimagining classics like GoldenEye and Skyfall with her signature electronic flair to sharing behind-the-scenes stories of blending 007's timeless allure with modern dance beats, Kendra opens up about her Billboard chart-topping journey, creative process, and what it takes to license a thrill. Whether you're a Bond fan or an EDM enthusiast, this episode is packed with insights, laughs, and a sneak peek into her February album release showcase.
Mirrors, feel his presence in the crowd.
Retired or getting ready to retire? David Smith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, is passionate about helping you craft the retirement you've always dreamed of. With over 20 years of experience, David creates personalized financial strategies to secure your nest egg, fund that dream vacation, or build a lasting legacy for your family. At Edward Jones, it's not just about wealth, it's about living your rich life. Whether you're enjoying more time with grandkids or exploring new adventures, David's here to guide you every step of the way. Proud sponsor of The Trout Show, he's committed to making your retirement vibrant and worry-free. Connect with David Smith today. Call 469-372-1587 to start planning your retirement now. And, oh, by the way, David can assist anybody located in 48 continental United States. Call David today at 469-372-1587.
Did you start out liking EDM and you just wanted to start doing it? Because it's not your typical, let's get three people together to play bass guitar, drummer, and a keyboard player, whatever. It's got a lot of electronics in it. That's why it's called EDM, electronic dance music.
Right.
How did you get into that?
Well, I originally did not get into it. I was when I was 8 years old, I was straightened out from my tone deafness by a German opera singer. And he laid a foundation for me, and it was a classical foundation. And so I built upon that. And then I was involved in community theater, school theater. And then I started just performing out in local competitions. And then when I was 15 or 16 years of age, I got a job singing at an Italian restaurant where I had to really just do a crash course and build my repertoire to appease the clientele there in Boca Raton, Florida, by doing a lot of like the standards and American Songbook, and all those classics. But I was always fascinated with the songwriting process. So I did a little bit of my first releases were pop and dance releases, but then I started working with an artist development firm in New York later on. This was like in my late teens, early 20s, and
you were still young then, yeah.
Yeah, I was still young. So I was like around like 20, 21 years old. And this was when I started to really take a liking for the likes of Lana Del Rey, Ellie Goulding, Jessie Ware, a lot of those, those classy, contemporary, but yet like very stylish, artists. And during this whole process, it's really funny because working with this development firm in New York, they were actually developing me as this Bond-esque type girl with this Lana Del Rey sound. And I put out tracks such as Miami Love, Hustler, and we were about to do another song, and just the songwriters I was working with, we were just hitting a wall. And then Lynn Verlaine, the head of the firm, introduced me to Jason Dowman, who was essentially and who became my Billboard promoter.
Mm.
Because she said, I think your voice would lend itself well to that style of music, that dance EDM style. That kind of like falsetto, soprano. It goes really well with DJs, like Cascade, Armin van Buuren, like all of those, Tiesto, all of them that they were putting out these records with these, and a lot of these European DJs too, like Gareth Emery, they were putting out all these records with all these like high soprano type voices, which I had. So she linked me up with him, and then because I wasn't really progressing with their writers, he just said, why don't you just come out to LA and start working with the team that I have, and the team that I started working with, like Damon Sharp, Luigi Gonzalez, Chris Garcia, who else, like Kevin Wild. I started working with them, and from working with them, they were all very like dance pop commercial focused, and then I started writing and recording and charting on the Billboard charts with that kind of style. So, and now I'm coming back to that Bond girl, that
Well,
Bond
I don't
girl-esque.
think that girl ever left.
No,
That girl
she never left. She just took a little bit of a scenic route.
Did you ever think about, though, the story you just told me, that people, did it ever cross your mind, though, that people obviously saw something in you that they would go and say, hey, come up to New York, or hey, we're not done with you, let's take you to LA. I mean, they obviously, whoever was around you saw something in you that they could take, and they saw a talent, is what I'm trying to say. That, and the typical journey is different for you because of the fact that you were in that type of music. Mm-hmm. And I actually, when you were talking about singing at an Italian restaurant, I'm thinking, I wonder how many Dean Martin songs and Frank Sinatra songs she had to sing.
Yeah, well,
That's that's amore.
well, so what ended up happening, how I got that job, is my parents and I went to this spot called Renzo's in Boca, and it was karaoke night. Like every week they did karaoke night, and I got up and I did "Time to Say Goodbye" by Andrea Bocelli, and I was like 15 at the time, and because it's just so unheard of. And so it's almost like, how does that come out of that young girl?
Yeah, yeah.
Just that whole shock value. Um, I got a standing ovation, and then Renzo comes up to my parents and I with two glasses of wine and says, I have a proposition for you. And he said, I just lost my Sunday singer because she got knocked up. Um, and and would you essentially want to take that spot? And I said yes.
Of course you
And
did.
I said yes even before my mom was like, Kendra, say yes, say yes, say yes, like kicking me under the table, like, say yes. I was like, Mom, I got this. I
Yeah,
know what
I
to
got it. I got it, Mom.
do. I got it. And when I got that job, then it was almost like then the fundamentals, it's like that initial high was starting to like wear off, and then like reality started to hit in, and then my
Mm.
mom, even my mom, she was like coming down off that high and then starting to check herself with reality and say, oh, well, you got to learn all these songs now. Because
Yeah.
all these
Yep.
people that are coming down here, all the retirees, they're gonna want to hear some Frank and some Dean
Yeah.
and some Doris Day and some Billie Holiday. So
Oh,
I
yeah, I forgot
had
about Queso Ross. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got no
yeah.
nonsense. Yeah.
So I
Well,
had
but
I had to
here's
do
the
a
thing,
crash
though.
course.
Here's what I think's funny is when it's like when you get to that point in your career and you were only 15,
Mhm.
So anytime somebody's going to say, "Hey, would you like to sing on Sundays?" Of course, you're going to say yes. But then,
Yeah.
like you said, you're going like, "Yeah, I could do Oh, wait a minute, I'm not just doing a song.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
can't
just
come in and
doing a
sing Andrea
song.
Bocelli every time I come in here. I got
Yeah.
about 4 hours to fill."
Yeah, I've got to fill my hours. Yeah, exactly. And I can't just come on in here and do like Spice Girls and Britney Spears because that'll get me kicked out.
Yeah.
Um all the stuff that I'm listening to. So, but what's really great about this is my parents had seasoned me from a young age because when I was growing up and they would have company over, they would always play the soundtracks of Celine Dion, of Barbara
Mm.
Streisand, of like Phantom of the Opera, all the Broadway classics. My dad would always play Frank Sinatra whenever we would be driving to dinner and from dinner or wherever we were going. He would always be playing those songs in the car. And now looking back in hindsight, I'm thinking he did a good job at that kind of indoctrination with me because I like that.
Well, you didn't even think about it because you heard it so many times. So when it came time to sing those songs, you already knew them. Because I'm
I
sure
already
you
knew
sit in the
them,
back
yeah.
seat and go like, "Oh my God, is he going to play that song again?" Or hear it on the radio. "Dad, we can't hear that song," and I can, But then
Yeah.
later, it actually paid off.
Yeah,
It paid off.
it paid off. Yeah, and also like it kind of just started to live within me and started to become a part of my development and a part of my absorption.
Were either one of your parents were they artists at all? Did they were singers, performers? Did they do anything? No, nothing.
No, my mom when she was growing up, she took ballet lessons and piano lessons, but unfortunately with her father's situation, he unfortunately was laid off, so he couldn't
Mm.
afford the lessons anymore. But and also she had an experience where her dad was just so strict and made her practice 3 hours a day, even putting a timer on
Oh,
the
geez.
piano, setting a timer. So by the time she got to like the big recital, she got up on stage and she completely blacked out because she
Yeah.
had rehearsed so much. And so she blacked out and just walked off the stage because um when you just run the tire so much through the mud, you literally see mud and you see black.
Well, it's kind of like parents that want their kids to be sports people. They're
Yeah.
living their life through the kid. How did you realize that somebody's saying you can't you suck at singing? Where did somebody say that you can't carry a note? Was it in school that somebody said, "Hey, get up and sing," and you couldn't do it? How did they recognize that fact?
No one really said to me that I was tone deaf. It's sort of like let's just well, especially when it comes to my parents, let's just help her out. And but let's just not tell her diagnosis, really. Um, well, because when you're and I think they did that to protect my porcelain doll little ego too. Because if they were to have said, you know, you're tone deaf, then I would have been absolutely
Oh
crushed, and
yeah,
then I
yeah.
probably would not be where I am today and doing what I'm doing. I would have been like Patrick from SpongeBob and crawled underneath a rock.
Did you say it was an opera person that teach taught you how to overcome it? An opera style?
Yeah,
Okay.
a classical coach. He
Okay.
was the musical director at the local theater that I went to. Because I wanted to get more involved in performance and theater, but because of my condition, my parents were like, okay, in order for her to actually do this properly and with an unhumiliatingly, we need to get her straightened out. But I didn't know that I was tone deaf. I just had the
Don't you
confidence
know? Yeah.
to do it. There's actually a tape of me when I was turning 3 of me singing Happy Birthday to myself, and it was like atonal. It was like the plains of Kansas. It was like
Fly.
one plane. It was like na 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 like
Yeah.
just flat, just completely flat, like nothing, no rocky, no undulation, nothing. So retroactively looking at that, I'm like, yeah, there was something askew there. But then the classical coach, and being that I was 8 years old, I was still super duper young.
Oh yeah.
I was very amenable to the training, and and I soaked it up like a sponge. So that's why they say it's better to learn a language when you're younger versus when
That's
you're
true.
older.
That's true.
So,
And if you're young and you'll learn it, you're better off. It's because when I was in that's when they taught you in high school is all these languages. By the time you're in high school, your brain's all screwed up. So if you
I
start, well,
know.
but I mean, point being,
From all the bullying and the trauma and the
but
bullshit
when
and
you're
all
five
that.
years old, your brain's not screwed up. So when you start talking, I mean,
Yeah.
I live in Dallas, so obviously Spanish is the main thing down here. I'm a Texan native, so it's. But when you teach people at 5 years old, they pick it up because their brains are still, and and it's not like grown-ups.
Right.
But the other thing that was intriguing to me was you're talking to a guy that I was just having this conversation with my wife the other day. We were talking about the James Bond series.
Mhm.
And I was told by a little bird that you know a lot about James Bond movies. And
Oh, is this little birdie platinum blonde and from Mission Viejo?
well, no, it was actually in your bio. I go do research on everybody, even this.
Hmm.
I get it from the PR people, but then I do my own research.
Hmm.
Um, but was your parents the one that kind of turned you on to that?
My dad was. Yeah, he showed me my first Bond movie when I was 7 years
And which
old.
one did you see?
I
You don't
don't
remember?
remember. I do remember though that it was you're probably gonna say, well, that's all of them, but it was the one where the one of the bad guys that he's trying to fight off gets in the front seat of the car and he just like ejects him from the
Oh, that's
passenger seat.
that is I think it's Goldfinger.
Yeah,
I
okay, yeah.
think it is
So
Goldfinger because yeah, it is, and that's when they caught him because I know it's like, you know, everybody goes, well, who's your favorite? My wife is like, who's your favorite Bond? And all that good stuff. And you chose Goldeneye is the one that you chose, and who sang that in the movie? I don't remember.
Tina Turner.
Oh, Tina Turner did. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about your career,
Mhm.
and this is the part I started out with. EDM, excellent. I see things with 2 million views. I watch you perform a couple places, whatever's online, I can find some
Mhm.
of that stuff. And then all of a sudden you go, I'm going to go back to singing standards. I think that takes a lot of guts because the fact is, you obviously want to do it. That's why you're doing an album and releasing it in February. But it's something must be in your soul that says, I got to do this. Even
Mhm.
though I'm a successful EDM artist and probably could do that for a while. I don't know. I assume because it's so much electronic in it, but is it something that never left you that you always wanted to go back to singing in the Italian restaurant?
Um, well,
You know what I mean? Going back to the
yeah,
classics,
yeah.
which that the
Yeah,
Golden Eye and all that
yeah.
songs, they're not classics, but they are. Some of them are.
Ab Absolutely. It's something that never left me, even when I was doing a lot of the EDM stuff and being, the young, wild, and free kind of, defiant sort of artist. And even so that essence um aesthetically never really left me either, even when I was doing EDM, because I never really subscribed to a lot of like the contemporary aesthetics that are out right now. Like I never fell into that sort of cookie cutter formulaic look that's kind of just frivolous and just a little
Yeah.
I would say elementary and surface level. Like I always wanted to make sure that I had that sort of classic look throughout whatever I did.
So I
But
have to, what we just mentioned that. What do people
mhm.
come up and think what country you're from?
Oh, I get everything from Russia to Russia to Russia.
Russia.
Yeah, everyone
Okay.
thinks I'm either from some Eastern European country, but or from Germany or from Norway or just something Scandinavian or Eastern European.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I should probably from now on say that I'm from Russia with love. Um, to be on brand, like
You
but
should start speaking in a Russian accent. That would be hilarious.
oh,
You
I
know,
can
when
still do the Russian accent.
yeah.
So
So when
so
they
much.
ask you that and you start going, you speak in like the Russian accent, and they go, "Oh, so it disappears when you sing." Oh yeah, it's just like the British people. I don't sing. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I'm like I'm listening to Amy Winehouse. I'm like, that could be like a black woman from the South.
yeah, it's the same thing. But the other thing
Yeah.
about what you're doing is there's more exposure for you. I
Yes.
mean, as far as an artist, because it's you're laying yourself bare out there when you're doing whether you're doing a James Bond music or something classic, whatever you want to call it, you gotta sing it real good, as we say, because
Mm-hmm.
people know. And not that EDM is not this. It's you still have to sing on key and all that stuff, but you're not doing the long drawn out notes, and you're not holding the falsetto and all that stuff, and you don't have a lot of you got the basic stuff behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said at the beginning you taking a risk, and for two reasons. That's one of them, but you got to know how good you can sing anyway, because that's why you would do it. Because that's why you think you can do it, because that's why you did the album. But the other thing is it's a different audience appeal, and so I've watched a couple of your videos, one where you're doing an EDM and then one you're doing one of the Bond things. And
Right.
it's funny because you do have a tremendous amount of energy when you do the EDM stuff, which you have to have because that's what it is.
Mm.
But then you're doing like 180 degree where you're just kind of laid back, which is exactly what you'd sing when you do what you're doing the other. Tell me what on this particular LP or the album you're working on, what tunes are on there? Did you write any of them, or are you just doing the classics? I'm not saying just, but I mean, you doing covers, or tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the album is comprised of the classic Bond songs in a restylized and stripped down version. And It's produced by Myron McKinley, who actually co-produced my cover of Witchcraft by Frank
Mm,
Sinatra a couple years ago. And Ralph Johnson from Earth, Wind and Fire also co-produced that with Myron as well, and that won a Hollywood Independent Music Award. But Myron and I joined forces on this one because I knew that he was going to deliver, and that he was going to understand the assignment so well because he's stripped
hmm
down songs from like Man in the Mirror and also songs from The Wiz, and he has this ability to put another signature on it. So I knew that he was going to be the guy for this project. But the songs that are on the album are from all the decades of Bond, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. So I have Goldfinger on there. I have Diamonds Are Forever on there. I have For Your Eyes Only. I have A View to a Kill on there. I have GoldenEye. I have Surrender from Tomorrow Never Dies. And then I do Skyfall, Writings on the Wall, and then No Time to Die.
So
And
you got
then,
all the decades covered.
yeah,
You got
all the
all yeah
decades covered.
yeah.
And then I did a stripped down version of one of my Billboard charting songs called A Deeper Love, which I wrote with Damon Sharp, but Myron stripped it down to a really nicey, smoky version, and that's going to be a bonus track on the album because that in its stripped down form it's it sounds sonically so much like a Bond song.
Mm.
So I wanted to throw that one on there as well. And yeah, I cover all the decades I'm on, and it's just it's a journey. And I think I think I'll do a volume two just to
Oh,
expand the
there's what,
bond.
20 25 movies? How many? I forgot how many there's
Yeah,
been. It's
yeah.
like 25 movies. Yeah.
25 movies. Yeah, I'd like to do a volume two to cover the rest, and then that'll also expand the show as well.
But you know, the other thing too, I think you got going on with you, Kendra, is the fact that you switch audiences, but you have longer staying power.
Mm,
They called classics, but they're called that for a reason
right.
because they've helped with, why do we listen to the same stuff at Christmas time that people listen to in the 40s or
I know.
it's the classics. And you're also probably going to expose people that never maybe ever saw a James Bond movie, because I've seen them all.
Yeah.
Uh, and you're right, they're all basically the same. But my wife says, "Why do people quit?" I said, "They get too old." Daniel Craig said the same
Yeah.
thing that Roger Smith said. I can't remember his last name. Anyway, he said,
Roger Moore. Yeah.
"Yeah, Roger Moore." He said, "I can't be 55 and having a scene with a 22-year-old Bond girl. It just doesn't look right." And
Yeah. Well, thank you for him saying that because it's, especially in this industry, what's going on.
oh
It's,
yes, well that's a completely different now. Yeah, it's a completely different thing. You
right.
must really want to be standing in front of full symphony and do like Goldfinger, which you can go. I'm sure you've seen Shirley
Oh
Bassey
my
do it.
gosh.
I mean, with the whole thing behind you.
The
I
chills
mean,
that just went down my
uh,
spine
I
just
can
when
see you doing it.
when you said that. Yeah, the chills that I just got goosebumps when you said that. So like that, I don't know that means it's spiritual confirmation, but
No, I mean, I think can't you see yourself? I'm sure when you did this, you said to yourself, everybody has a dream. I don't care
yeah.
where you are in your career. I still envision you, and I look forward to the day when I see it. Oh, look who's walking out on stage. Oh, look who's going to sing in front of this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And here you come. And you sing the song. And you have to realize that that's a moment that's coming for you. You
Mhm.
know, that, yeah, it's great. And I may be speaking out of turn here, but I don't know, have any idea what your goal is
Mhm.
other than play the music that you love and redoing it so it's different. What is your goal?
Well, the goal with this album is to create a show. And the show is going to debut in February, on February 15th in Vegas. Um, and the goal is to create a show out of this album and to either create a residency
Mm,
or take it nationally and internationally. 'Cause I just don't see the appeal with Bond stopping just in the city of sin. I
no.
see,
No.
because it's just so global. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
just look at the movies alone. It's like a whole geography lesson.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like a whole travel guide to exotic places. So, and that escapism of Bond, is just what has made it so, not only like revered, but also, you know, memorable too. So it has a global appeal that I am looking forward to being a part of. And that's another reason why I decided to do this project is because the demographic and the audience for Bond, I mean, it's already baked in.
Oh yeah, sure it is.
It's
And
already baked into to the um to the martini shaker.
well, and then you can get crossover because the fact, like me being a baby boomer, I've seen them all. I wasn't very
Yeah.
old when the first Dr. No came out. I was telling our friend the other day, I sat in the back seat of my sister's, who eventually became her husband, watching it at a drive-in theater,
Mhm.
you know. And back then, it was funny because the movies, they didn't have R ratings or anything like they called them M for mature. And most of my
Right.
friends, my parents didn't care, but a lot of I can't go see it because it's got M on mature on it. And I'm going, okay, then you'll never get all the jokes and all that stuff. And we waited for the jokes that Sean Connery would say. But the fact that you just mentioned it. So you got the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. You got them all
Yeah.
covered. So you're
Uh-huh.
going to pick up people that might have seen even Pierce Bronson, who's a little bit older.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I remember that song. And then you're going to pick up the Adele people. Now that I know what your goal is, it makes my understanding now how the whole thing. And that's a big picture thing. I like big picture things. Um,
Yeah. Well,
and
and also like you said, it grabs the adult people because the people that just knew that were just introduced to Bond because they were fans of Adele, because they were like, "Oh
Mhm.
my God, we love her Rolling in the Deep. Oh my God."
Yeah.
Or just the people that are Billie Eilish fans and who were introduced to Bond. So, and there are a lot of people of this generation that aren't really familiar with James Bond
Mm.
unless if they really showed an interest in it, or they were like paying attention to like what their parents liked, or however it may be. But it's a generational thing. And also that's another reason why I wanted to do this project, is because, it's really time to bring classic back into
Agreed.
our world today. Because I mean, I just walking around in the airport when I'm traveling a lot, or just even walking around here in LA, it's like you see people just dressing like slobs and like in sweatpants and all that. And even when I go to the Polo Lounge now, the Beverly Hills Hotel, there are people wearing like hoodies and
Yeah.
just treating the decorum with such like neglect.
It's like
So
I was in a
I
store that somebody had their pajamas on,
yeah.
and you're like, oh, come on. And it wasn't like they did it on purpose. Of course they did because they didn't have clogs on. They had, house shoes on. And I'm thinking,
Right.
but I'm so used to it now. But I mean, still, you're right. And I think bringing class back is cool. I think that's really a great thing to think
It's
about.
really cool, and also musically and musically and stylistically too, because the one person today that is sort of leading that right now is Nicole Scherzinger, because she went from doing the Pussycat Dolls and now she's doing like Andrew Lloyd Webber, and she just won a Tony for Sunset Boulevard. So, and even she kind of got tired of the whole like what's the word? Just a pop surface level stuff that she was doing with Pussycat Dolls, because she even said no one was taking me seriously as an
Well, and the other
artist.
thing is, it's kind of like when they talk about Billie Eilish or someone of that ilk, or Ariana Grande or something, and they go in the studio and they manipulate it so much now that it's lost everything. It's none of it's real anymore. Oh, I can change
Yeah.
that one note. Oh, I think you need an inflection on that vowel, and then we'll change it. That loses, to me, it loses all the continuity. I mean, I'm going like, okay, I know you can do it, but now it's becoming just electronic music because, you're losing out on the ability to make just music and not worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. It like you said, um it reduces the the authenticity, and it also just makes it more engineered. And even, I mean, even when you were just saying that, when I was at a holiday party in Vegas this past weekend, uh, a bunch of the performers that I've known and that I'm friends with, we all got up and we sang live, and just when I was hearing everyone just like sing live, like I was just so engaged in it. So
Mm.
engaged, like my body was just wanting to move just so naturally to it. Whereas when I go into a nightlife establishment today and there's like a DJ playing all the contemporary stuff, like I walk in there and I'm just head bobbing. Like I'm not, my body's really just not into it.
Mm.
I'm just keeping time. I'm keeping rhythm. But no, it's you're completely correct on that, in that it's now becoming cooler to do so. And I think even generationally speaking, a lot of our generation, like I go on TikTok now, they're doing there are all these accounts now that are showing clips from older movies, and they're just
Interesting.
like little reels or little
Yeah.
clips. But I think people are like vying for that right now.
What you're doing, you can't fake it. I
No,
mean,
well, and whenever I do record a song and I do harmonies, I have I have the producer, whomever I'm working with, I have them mute my lead vocal, because when I hear my voice, I get thrown off. But it's so funny, when I hear someone else's voice, I don't get thrown off.
so you can harmonize with other people, but not with yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Not with myself, no.
That's interesting.
So when I hear my voice, because it's just so, I mean, it's me. It's like so close that I want to, I feel so inclined to do what I'm doing in the lead. Um,
So let me ask you that though. So as a producer myself, so you're sitting there and you do. It's going to have three part. Let's go with three part harmony. You do the melody line,
mhm.
okay? How do you sing? Then do you have a chart that then you read the notes to know what you're going to sing? If you're not hearing the melody line, how do you know what to sing?
Well, the whomever I'm working with, like even I'll just do an example, a current example. Um, with Damon Sharp, I just did a song. I just wrote and recorded a song with him. He we deci we deciphered what the harmony would be, and then I practiced that, but then I did it without
Okay,
my lead, and then he was able to match it
okay, I got it.
production wise. So but it's really funny though, because when I was listening to, because right after I recorded it, the next day I had to go to Vegas, and then he sent me the song file to listen to. And there was one part where I said, I heard where I heard a harmony, but I missed it when I was there in the studio in person. And I told him that's when I gave him the green light to use AI to then do the harmony on that. And then he did it, but it wasn't for lack of like effort or
No.
anything like that. It was just because, when you hear it so much, and then you're like, okay, it's good. But then you listen to it on fresh ears, you're like, oh, there could be a harmony in that particular part. So then I was just like, yeah, just do some AI and put a harmony on
Well,
that.
I think it's kind of like when you go, I had people when they go to the studio the first time, I tell them it's really easy to second guess yourself over and over again. And
Mhm.
and I had a friend of mine, I was in Muscle shows a few years back, and I had a friend of mine, he's an amateur drummer. I said, why don't you come down and play on this tune? I'm going to be recording. And I told him, I said, you know what's going to happen a year from now on your list of Spotify, you're going to say to yourself, I could have done drums differently. So about a year later, he says, you know what, you're 100% right. And I go, what do you mean? He says, I was out mowing the yard and listening to the song, and I go, I could have changed the drums. I said, it never goes away. I said,
Yeah.
you have to walk away from it because if you don't, you will drive yourself insane trying to
I
change
know.
stuff. You know what I mean? Because you want it to be
Yeah.
as perfect as possible, but people don't know that. This is the hardest thing I try to tell people that aren't doing it is trying to convey what's up here and telling people in the studio that you're recording. This is what I want to have happen.
Mm-hmm. And not just in the recording studio too, but like when you're doing content creation, like videos and photo shoots, like
Yep.
I have to be very specific now, and I kind of have to take like a really super duper participatory role, because I'm usually like, yeah, I'll send reference photos, and I'm like, yeah, can you recreate that? And then we get to the shoot or the shoot location, and I'm like, where are we gonna do this particular shot? Because I don't see any room or any spot where we're gonna be doing this. So, it's really important not to be micromanagey, obviously, because then you get
Yeah.
labeled a
Yeah. Yeah.
diva or difficult.
Yeah.
But it's always good um to be proactive and
It's almost like
to
you have to storyboard your own videos, you know?
yeah, you have to sort yeah,
You don't
exactly.
want to
Yeah,
do
because
that, but it's like, that storyboard this, and it's like, really?
I'm the same way like your friend who's mowing the lawn because I watch videos that I shoot, and then the draft gets sent to me, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna have to fly back and do other shots, and then it just becomes this. I'm like, could I just have like an endless budget for everything, please? I just want an endless budget. I want to be able to go back whenever I please to do pickup shots.
You must have some, and you don't need to tell me who they are, but you must obviously have some people that are supporting you quite a bit to do what you're doing,
Yes, I do.
which is great.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I do. From family to just close friends that I've developed a rapport with and working with, like people that I'm working with that have grown um, to become very close with me. My parents have given money to certain individuals, and
Yeah.
the um, it's been questionable what their efforts are.
Well, how do
Um,
you never learn, there's not a book that says how to become a musical star, or, there's nothing
no,
like that.
and also that whole concept of whether you give this person money or not. Like there are people that I work with that genuinely support me, but at the end of the day, they need to
Sure.
they're a business as well. So,
Yeah.
but it's not but there's already that trust factor, and there's that give, and there's that take, and there's that understanding of what I'm going to get from them because they've proven that to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to just giving an inordinate amount to someone to promote you, that's yeah, because I've gone down that road too.
Well, that's because there's always going to be people that want to perform. There's always going to be people that want to try to make it to the top or whatever the thing is. And you get that drive in you, and it's like, oh yeah, like okay, here's the $10,000. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But mom, dad, give me $10,000. Yeah, yeah. What's happening with that $10,000? I don't know, but give another $10,000 to somebody
Yeah, well,
else.
and also when you give the when in my experience, we've given money to people, and then they use that money and then on another person or another project.
I got to tell you real quick. There's
I'm like, what? I'm like, I've got more to offer than this than this replicated Justin Bieber's
Isn't
got
this a
going on.
pyramid scheme? I'm going to give you money, then you're going to
Yeah.
give it to somebody else and give it to some.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Is it a pyramid scheme? Exactly. Like,
okay, out of the catalog of the movies and the songs, there's always the one. What's the one that you love singing more than the rest of them?
and you're talking out of the License to Thrill catalog.
Well, out of any of the James Bond songs. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's yeah. Out of the here's the catalog of all the James Bond. Obviously, you picked some out
Oh,
that you
yeah.
like, but there's always some song that you like a little bit better. That oh yeah, let's go. What's your
Diamonds
favorite?
Are Forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Shirley Bassey too that sang that?
Shirley Bassey, yes.
Yeah. Diamonds are forever. I remember when I saw that movie. Uh, well, that Goldfinger song is a tough song. I don't envy anybody trying to sing that thing because that's not
Yeah.
easy.
Well, the version that I do on the album is not as um not as theatrical. It's a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
more. It's
He was a
like
little over the top, but that was
it's a little
1964,
bit
so
more like
yeah.
mystical, I'd say. It's very like I would say it reminds me of the Spider-Man soundtrack a little bit, just like a
Mm.
little mystical.
Well,
Um,
at the end of the day, I think that you've got a great idea. I hope it works out for you. I look
thank
forward to
you.
hearing more from you. I always like seeing, somebody asked me this the other day. I was talking to an artist out of Ohio, and she said, thank you for interviewing me. Now I'm up for some kind of thing. And I said, okay. And I said, you know what I love doing is talking to artists that have not made it big. And that's a relative term for everybody.
Yeah.
But I said, when I see them continue growing and
Mhm.
get bigger and bigger, and I was there at the beginning, I love that. I enjoy it. And I said, it's heartwarming for me to see people like, and hopefully one day I'll get to see you maybe in February.
Yes.
I rarely get to see people I interview because they're all over the country. If they come to Dallas, I always tell them, tell me when you're playing so I can go see you. But I don't get a chance to. So when I get to see him, but then when I see him being successful, I saw one today, interviewed, I think he's 18 now. I saw him, he was in Dallas, and he was a blues player, but now he's been asked to play at the Ryman in Nashville. And I'm
Wow.
going like, dude, you
Dude,
know.
surf that wave, bro.
So once again, thank you so much. I wish you all the luck in the world. Um, Look forward to hearing the whole thing, and look forward to maybe seeing you.
Yeah, I would
And,
love that.
and
Please.
then, can I
Yeah.
have your autograph?
Oh yeah, hold on. Yeah. I could have one sent to you, so it'll be there just in time for Christmas.
Well, you have a great weekend coming up, and continue much luck, and hopefully we'll see you next year.
Yes, you too. Thanks
All
so
right.
much.
Take care. See ya. Bye bye.
See reflections on the water, more than darkness in
Well, that's
the
it for this
depths.
episode of The Trout Show. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to my interview with the great Kendra Erika. And if you want to know more about her, just go to her website at kendraerika.com, KendraErika.com. A special shout out to her for coming on and talking about her upcoming release of her album and her show that's going to be in Las Vegas in February of this year, 2026. Of course, a special shout out to the guy that keeps the lights on here, Mr. David Smith with Edward Jones. Thank you, David, once again for stepping up and helping us for this year. For more information about The Trout Show, just go to my website, troutshow.com. Everything's there. All the past podcasts, YouTubes, music. Speaking of music, my new album comes out on January 16th of this year called Feels Like Home. I hope you pick it up or listen to it on your favorite streaming service. Feels Like Home. You can find it under my name, The Trout. It's going to be everywhere. So until next time, people, you know what I say. It's only rock and roll, but I love it. Signing off. Trout. The Trout. See ya.
Or leather, golden chains take him to the spot. Golden eye, I'll show him forever. It'll take forever to see what I've got.